Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the kickoff. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, praise. Good day, good morning. Depending on where you're joining from, because we have different people from we have people from different countries joining us today or in our community. So welcome, guys. Okay, we have 12 people in the meeting, on the call. I mean. Okay, I think we should wait additional 2 minutes for others to join. Then, we can kick start. Okay, good afternoon. Okay, the time is 3:02, and I think we should start. Others will join us, along the line. So, good afternoon once again, and I want to congratulate every one of us, for joining this cohort and, for also joining the community. As we all know, in the community for the cohort, we have two pipelines: the learning pipeline and the job pipeline. The learning pipeline is strictly for the newbie, while the job pipeline is for junior, intermediate, and senior designers, right? And the reason why it's been splitted is because for a newbie, obviously, a newbie shouldn't be thinking of how to get a job, right? Because they don't have the skill. What they should be thinking about is how to get the skill, how to be skilled, right? So, um, for the job pipeline, as a junior designer, as an intermediate, as a senior, what you want to thinking of is, okay, how can I get a job? As a junior designer, you want to get probably an internship job or a junior job. An intermediate, you want to get, a job as a product designer or UI UX designer, and senior, it goes like that. So today, which is September 2nd, you know makes it, today we kickstart the cohort. And week one, what we have for this week is kickoff and setup, right? I'm going to be telling us, you know everything we need to prepare ourselves for the cohort, what we need to know, um and everything we need to get ourselves prepared for, right? So I want us to pay attention, please. Okay, so we have 4 point agenda, and the first one is cohort curriculum. Then after that, I talk about the activity for this week, and then I talk about things we need to do this week, and the last one is question and answer section. Where one of us have a the learning pipeline is a 9-week curriculum, and by the end of this 9 week, everyone must have created a case study, our individual job tracker, where we'll be using to you know track our job applications and everything. And at the end of the cohort, I want, at that point, we can now be confident to now start applying for jobs, right? So that is the goal, you know for this cohort or for this pipeline. So um the next, back on our job hunting journey successfully, it is crucial to understand certain key aspects and how to strategically or be strategic in every step of this process. So what I'll be sharing now is a job hunting roadmap, right? The things we need to know, when as regard being a product designer, and how to be strategic, in your career path or in your journey. So, like I said, I want us to be attentive and probably note some things down as I'm talking to us. So, to start with, as a product designer or UI UX designer, you can work in all sectors, right? What I mean by sectors or industry is you can work in aviation, you can work in oil and gas, you can work in e-commerce, you can work in fintech, you can work in health, you can work in all sectors, right? Because what we do is we design digital products, and all of these sectors have, digital products that aid, the activities and improve how things are done in these sectors, right? So we have the opportunity to work in all these sectors. Bola said the call keeps cutting. Oh, apologies for that. Probably it's the network. Apologies for that. Okay, yeah. So, as I was saying, so now, I always hear people say that, oh, as a designers, when you're starting out, you need to be a generalist. Do everything, and then as you keep going, you can now start to specialize, right? But I don't see that as being strategic enough. I don't see that as being smart enough, right? Because if now in all of these sectors, if you say that, okay, you want to focus on all the old sectors, right? One thing you need to ask yourself is it possible, is it realistic for you to understand all of the sectors that we have end to end? Now, we have like over 30 sectors, right? Over 30 sectors available in the world. Now, like I said, we can work in all of these sectors. Now, the question is it realistic for you to understand how everything works end to end? Because as product designers, as UI UX designers, before you can even think of solving a problem that is available, make sure you choose at least 3 that you really want to focus on. And the things that should guide you in choosing the sectors you want to focus on is interest. Which of these sectors do I have interest in? Right? Which of these sectors do I have interest in? Which of this sector am I passionate about? Which of this sector have opportunity in? So I feel the opportunity should be a key part of it. Like, you should ask yourself, okay, which of this sector have opportunity in? That is, can I get can I get jobs in these sectors? Right? How can I improve in my skill? For example, let's get opportunity in that kind of sector. So interest, passion, and opportunity should be what should drive you in choosing. Because the reason why opportunity, looking at opportunity in this sector is key is that at the end of the day, you learning this skill, you want to learn it so that you can be financially stable, so that you can put food on your table, right? So it should be a skill whereby you can there will be enough opportunity in where you can get jobs and everything will be fine, right? So now, out of all these sectors, pick at least 3 sectors. So now, for this illustration, I'm going to be picking a sector just for this example, right? So let's say I pick fintech. Let's say I pick fintech, I pick e-commerce, and I pick fintech, I pick e-commerce, and I pick health. Right? So now, another thing you now need to do is you've picked all these 3 industry based on all the 3 metrics that I mentioned. Okay, you have interest in all this industry, you have passion for it, and also you've noticed that, or you've done your research and said, okay, this industry have enough opportunity in them. So the next thing you need to do is to get to read about them, get to understand how they work, right? You need to do your research, you need to get to read about them. So once you are able to do all of these things, then you can now move to the next thing on the roadmap, which is okay, you now need to do is, you know, to now build, to now write, work on a case study on at least each of these, sectors, right? So now let's now say, okay, we're starting with fintech, right, which is one of the three sectors, right? So now let's say you work on a case study. So now there is an approach to how you should work on a case study. So when you're working on a case study, there are two approach. Is either you work there are two approach like that people do, right? We have the abstract and we have the live. Abstract product and the live product. So now the abstract product is you working on a company that does not exist, right? A company that does not exist. So I will give us a perfect example. I know that most of us must have worked on some case studies in the past, and you name it your name. Like let's say you work on a catering app, or you work on let's say your name is Tayo Bank, right? All those things are abstract. So abstract is a company that does not exist, a company that you formed yourself, and you work on something and you present. That is not a good way to go. And the reason for that is it does not have a good use case, right? So the best approach is to work on a live product. And what I mean by live product is a product that is already, working, a product that already have users, a product that is registered, a product that people are already using. For example, GTB app, for example, Kuda app, for example, product that already in the market that you are using, that have users. So now, on working on live products, we now have two approaches to it also, right? The two approaches is either you work on solving a problem, or you work on enhancing the feature or the way the product works. Can you see? If you are working on a live product, there are two approaches to that also. Is either you are working on solving a problem, or you are working on enhancing a particular feature or to make the product better, right? So now there are some apps or there are some products whereby you can hardly find problems in the product, right? You can hardly find product, and how you can even get to find or to know there is a problem in the app is not just by your own intuition or your own thinking, right? It's based on research. It's based on looking at what users are saying, the feedback, the reviews. That's how you can get to know, is this product working? Is this feature working? And you get to know that this particular product does not have any issue when it comes to problem, and or these products just need enhancements. Maybe you have a good idea of how a particular feature should work. So now I'm going to go with the route of a problem that has a problem. So how can you get to identify if a particular existing product has a problem, and you can capitalize on that and work on improving the problem, right, using your design skill by by working on it and writing the case study on how you were able to solve the problem, and so on and so forth. So now there's an approach, and the approach is and it's best for mobile apps, right? Products that has mobile application. So if you go on depending on the kind of phone you use, if you go on App Store or Google Play Store and you search, for example, let's say you want to start with fintech, right? So now you are starting with fintech as an industry, right? So now if you want to look for products in the fintech space, live products in the fintech space that you want to work on your case study, right? And the approach is you are looking for a product that has probably problem in their problem you are looking to solve, right? It could be UX issue, UI issue, right? A problem you are looking to solve to make the product better. So now what you should do is go to your App Store or your Google Play Store. And when you get to the App Store, Google Play Store, now because you are working on fintech, you are going to search for keywords in fintech so that you can pull out, live, products in that space. For example, in fintech, savings. When you type in savings in your App Store, it's going to bring out apps that are under savings or companies that are doing savings, right? If you type in investment, it's going to put out, products. Or another strategy that I use is I try to filter, the apps that have, tangible number of users, right? You don't want to work on an app that just launched last week. Probably they have 100 users, right? You want to work on an app that at least 5,000 users, they have, reviews, they have this online cloud, they have this good online presence. At least when you work on that kind of project and put it out, one or two people online must have seen it, put up like, okay, okay, I know this company, I know this product, and it just gives them sense of, that sense, right? So now, when you search for, let's say, investment, and you scan through the suggested apps, and you select anyone you want to go with, when you click on that particular app, now look for the rating and review section. Do you get? Look for the rating and review section. So under the rating and review section is where the work is. So what you are going to do under that section is to now look for, bad ratings of users, right? Like I said, look for bad rating of the user. So now, the rating and the reviews that users will be dropping will cut across different departments, right? It will cut across customer service, it will cut across functionality, that development wise, it will cut across customer care, it will cut across a lot of things, right? It will cut across the design itself, or how the product is functioning, the user experience and all of these things. So now, the feedback you should be particular about is the one that talks about user experience, the user interface, the design. Those are the three things that you are particular about. So for example, if you search for a product and you get to see the feedback section that talks about customer service, just ignore it. It's none of your business. Like, it has nothing to do with design, right? So if you look at the one that talks about the user experience, okay, let's say for example, the dashboard, I can easily find the download button, or the download button is taking time, like I have to click multiple steps. You already know that, okay, that's an issue, and you should be able to what? You should be able to solve that. You should be able to make, try to make it better. So you take a screenshot of that particular feature, that particular review, right? So you keep on digging, right? So you scan through to make sure you find reviews about interface, user experience, and design. So once you're able to gather, as you're seeing them, you take a screenshot, you take screenshots of all this review. So another thing you need to have at the back of your mind is make sure that you make sure that the reviews you are getting, right, should be, the bad reviews about, the interface, the experience and design should be a lot. So now, let's say you are lucky enough for a particular product to get, let's say 40 screenshots from all the reviews. So now the next thing you need to do is to now go to your Figma app, create a new FigJam file, right? I am very sure everyone knows FigJam, right, on Figma. Create a FigJam file. Now on that FigJam file, dump all of these screenshots that you've taken on there. Now in UX, there's something we call card sorting in UX, right? Card sorting is when you group, similar things together. Now, in those 40 screenshots that you've taken, probably there are like 7 reviews that talk about sign up, saying that, when I was trying to sign up, the button, like the input field was not clear enough. Another review says that, when I was signing up, the process was too long. Another one says that, when I was signing up, the communication was too bad. Like, you have at least 7 about sign up that you're able to look out for in those 40 screenshots. Now what you just need to do is group those 7 together. Like, pick out the similar ones, group them together, and label them to say that, okay, this one is sign up, right? So now for that sign up, you need to find a better title to say that, to improve the sign up flow of so app. So now let's say out of that 40 again, you saw dashboard. That is probably dashboard. There are a lot of reviews, bad reviews that users have said concerning the dashboard, and you can see like 10. Make sure you group all those ones too. So now there will be some reviews that will be probably 1, right, or 2. So ideally, you should not any review that is less than let me put a number to it. Any review that is less than, let's say, 4, you should discard it. Like, what I mean is that, let's say you, out of those 40, you only saw a review about someone said, oh, the settings page is not well organized or something, right? And it's 1. You should not prioritize it, right? The reason for that is, and I want us to follow along as a product designer, right? If let's say you have 5,000 active users using your product, and you only get 1 bad review or 2 bad review about a particular feature, it's not enough data or reason to say that, okay, I want to change this particular flow. Let's say the 2 people say, oh, the settings page is not clear enough. It's not more than enough reason or data for you to say that, yes, I want to redesign, I want to rework on the settings, right? You can't just, you need, like, a company cannot allocate all those time just because 2 users are complaining about it out of 5,000. But let's say out of that 5,000, 100, 200, 500 people are complaining. Then you know that, you guys need to work on it. Then it can be prioritized. I don't know if we understand, what I just said. If you understand that, please, I want you to drop in the chat, let me know, right? So before you can say that, okay, you want to rework on a particular feature, you want to, based on users' feedback, you want to improve your design, or you want to work on something, you want to improve on a feature, you need to get enough tangible, feedback. That's why for this scope, if you say at least 4, you can now say that, okay, I think we should, I should provide a solution to this particular feature, right? So now, once you are able to, you are lucky enough to, let's say you get 2 or 3, aspects that you can work on, right? Say another thing I want us to have at the back of your mind is, you don't need to identify like 2, 3, 5, key problems before you can even say, okay, I want to work on solving this problem. If it's one that you lay your hands on, that is, the bad feedback you're able to get will just mainly focus on one topic. Let's say sign up, and you have a lot of screenshot there. It's good. You can just work on that one. If it's 2, fine, right? Now, after you're done with that, the next thing obviously is to now start doing your research, right? Get to understand why all these users are complaining about these certain things, right? So you probably want to set up a call, with some of these users, or users that use the particular product, to get the better insight. We all know user interview, right? You have already drafted out your question, so that you get to understand how you can solve that problem better. It's part of the US research phase. Another thing you want to do is probably want to put out survey outside there, so that people can feel, so that you get to understand, how you can best, solve that problem, right? So once you are able to understand, you are able to gather all of this insights, all of this data from the user itself, then it's going to help you in designing the solution. So after you're done with all this phase, you can now, at that point, you can now open a Figma design file and now say, okay, I want to start, working on the design. So obviously you need to take screenshot of how the current flow look like, try to analyze it, and so you start to design. You work on your first iteration. Once you are done working on a flow, for example, okay, the sign up, the complaint was that, or the feedback was that it's too long, or is this. Make sure all those inputs you incorporate them while you are designing for the new flow. Once you're able to do all of that, the next thing you want to do, which is very, very key, is usability testing, right? You need to reach out to those people that you've interviewed, and to tell them that oh, okay, you've able to come up with a solution. but you want to test it with them. You want them to use it. Like, so now what you are going to do at that point is, once you are done designing, you need to also create a prototype, right? Is that prototype link you are going to send to them, right? So that they can, use it. You are going to tell them, oh, it's not a live, it's not live, that is not coded, right? But they can still, use it, to test how, if it's being coded, if it's a live product, how they can use it, right? So on the call, you set up a call with them also, and you study how they use it. You get their insights. So on the live call, they could give you a feedback also to tell you that, oh, in this particular part, I would have preferred it to go this way. I would have preferred you to add this thing. I would have preferred you to do it this way. And at that point, you're already noting it down. So at the end of that call, you go back to Figma again. You create another version of that design, and you update it. That is what we call usability testing. Do you get? You update it. Now, once you are done with that, based on the feedback that you collected from the users that tested it. So now, at that point, if make sure that you are able to reach out to more, because you need to get more insights, right? So now, once you go back to make that iteration and you update it, you schedule another call with the person. And if in that call again, the person has another suggestion, you go back. So you need to make sure that your solution actually sits well with the user. The user is very, very comfortable in it, right? It works. You don't just assume, right, that, oh, okay, what you've done, oh, it works because you think you've added this color, you've placed this button here, I think it's what. No, you validate your design with users, because you are not the one to use it at the end of the day. So now, let's say you do that back and forth, they give you feedback, you go back to update it, you schedule a call again, and at the end of the day, the user is now, confident. They love what the solution, and they be like, oh, okay, this solution, they will love it, to be live, because it can actually, it has solved the problem they are facing. Then at that point, you know that, yes, your design has been validated, and with this design, it's good to go. So at that point, you can now start to write your case study, right? So all of the things you've worked on, from the screenshot you took, from the screenshot you took from the review section to your user interview, like the screenshot you took during the user interview phase, the survey, all the things you were doing till you get to your final results, you now need to, compile everything together by writing a case study. Right? So in writing a case study, next week we are going to talk about that, all the things that should be in your case study. You understand how you should write it, how you should go about it. Then you can now, compile everything together, and your case study is done. And now I want to use us all as a case study, right? Like I want us to put ourselves in the shoe of a recruiter or hiring manager or a CEO of a company. All this thing I just said is, all this thing I just said is when you write a case study on a live product. And now with everything I've highlighted, if you are being realistic yourself, you can see that if you are able to work on a case study of this nature, you can be so confident that when you submit this to any recruiter, to any CEO, to any hiring manager, you get, like, there's 80% chances of you getting a job. Yes, also, yes, your user persona is also going to be included in all of these things, obviously, right? That's part of the research phase. You get to understand, who are the users. I said it earlier, I didn't just mention user persona. Everything will be included, right? Thank you for that. So now, I want to use those as case study, and I want us to be very, very attentive to this, right? So now, let's say there is user A, there is person A, and there is person B, right? So person A and person B worked on a fintech case study, right? They worked on a fintech case study. Person A worked on an abstract case study, right? So let's say person A, the name is Tayo. So the person now work on an abstract case, say Tayo's Bank, right? Now the person B worked on a live product, just what I've highlighted. Let's say the name of the product is Kuda, right? And what the person worked on based on the the feedback, the review, the bad comment they got in the review. It says improving the sign up or the create account flow on the Kuda app. That's right. And based on everything I've said, person B followed everything I've said thoroughly. And their case study, everything is live. Person A worked on an abstract product, Tires Bank. It has no use case, it has no real users. He just designed the same way fintech apps look like, and they publish it. So now, everyone on this call, I want you to put yourself as a hiring manager, as a CEO or a recruiter. If you are the CEO or the hiring manager of a fintech company and you're looking to employ a product designer to work on your product, right? When person A and person B submit an application, who will you be interested to talk to? Who will you want to set up an interview call with based on the case study they submit? Is it the person A that has abstract product, or that worked on abstract product that does not have any user, no use case, or person B that worked on a live product that has users, that have use case, and you can see that what he or she worked on, you can validate it. But you can validate because there is data on it online. You can see the old design, the old flow, compare it with the new flow that the person worked on, and you can see that yes, this person is actually good at what he or she does. So who are you going to set up an interview call with? I want you to drop it in the chat. Is it the person A or the person B? Please, I want us to reply. I want us to reply so that I get to know that we are understanding. Thank you, Olamilekon. Olamilekon said definitely it's person B. And the reason why you chose person B, I can see everyone saying person B, and the reason why you chose person B is because number one is your company is a fintech company, right? The person B worked on a fintech product. The third one is the fintech product is not just an abstract product, it's a live product that already has users. What they worked on is a problem that real users are facing, right? If you are a Kuda customer, you are facing it. No, like the person actually prefer a good solution to that problem. Because I can as well, if as you are the CEO or the hiring manager or the recruiter, you can as well download Kuda app to check how the current flow is and compare with the work the designer have done, and see that no, this person is too good. No, this is clear. Everything is is stated out. Do you understand? So with that, you will want to you want to set up a call with the person, and even in that call, you won't be asking too much question because the work of the person already has done justice to the person. What you probably want to ask is, okay, how their work process is and other little things like that. Let me tell you guys that what I just said now actually worked for me several times. Last year I got a job with a design agency. The headquarters is at California, the United States. One of my case studies I submitted, this is how I worked on it. And when I submitted it, do you know that I was able to get to the interview room? And even while in the interview room, I was expecting, a lot of drilling. Like, okay, my design process, all of those things, and all of those stuff, right? Do you know that the question I was expecting was not what I saw? Like, the case study already to that. The hiring manager was just telling me, we were just discussing about, okay, pay and the work culture at their company, and what I am to expect. It was just like my case study has already done justice, and that was what I knew, that this is like the right path to go. Also, one of my case study on a UBA bank app. Then when I publish it, a CEO of a company reached out to me directly, and on the call when we were talking, he didn't talk about my design experience or anything close to that. We're just talking about, am I available to work with him, because he has already read it. And surprisingly, he was a UBA customer and he faced that problem that I solved. Do you get? So working on a live product is the way to go. If you have worked on abstract products, all this baking app, all this like product that does not have use case, that you can't validate, product that you yourself know that you are not even solving a real problem. You just formulated, you were just pushing pixels, you were just designing, you didn't do research, you didn't do anything, you were just stealing inspiration from other apps and all of that. That's not the way to go. I'm very happy that we all now we are getting to understand, you know, the way to go, you know, what we should do, what we should expect in this course. Do we all get? So now, so another thing, so that's it, right? Another thing I want to say is that, so let's say after this entire cohort, you know, everyone were able to, you know, work on a case study, you know, using this method I've just highlighted, right? You know, like I said, after you've chosen like the three sectors, you know, you've worked on a case study on fintech, you know, you're even able to work on another, the rest of the two, that is the e-commerce and the, you know, and else, for example. So now if you are now applying for a job, so what you should do when applying for a job, you need to also be strategic about it, right? So now I'm going to use everyone as a case study like I did earlier. So so now I want you guys to also put yourself in a position of the CEO, the hiring manager, or the recruiter of, let's say, let's say an health tech company, right? Let's say health tech company. You are the CEO of an health tech company. You are the recruiter, or the case may be. So now let's say there is person 2 and person 4, right? So person 2 worked on a live product. So the two people, they work on a live product, right? A live product. So the person 2 worked on a live product on aviation, in the aviation sector. That is, they worked on probably improving the experience of, you know, airline booking app, for example, right? Of let's say airpiece. You can say that it's a live product. Person 2 worked on improving the experience of flight booking on airpiece. That's what the person 2 worked on. You can say that it's a live product, but it's on aviation. The person 4 worked on improving the experience, or, you know, on a health product, which is a live product. I'm trying to look for a live, but health product, which is a live product, right? So they both work on a live product. You know, they work on an amazing case study, just the same way I've highlighted. You know, that you can see the problem, you can validate, everything is clear. So now, but person 2 worked on an aviation product. The person 4 worked on health product. And remember that you are the CEO, hiring manager, or recruiter for health product. You are looking to hire a designer to come work for your health product. Please tell me in the comment section, who are you going to be interested in setting a call with? Who will you want to talk to, and why? Is it person 2 that worked on a live product on aviation, or person 4 that worked on a live product on health, in which your company is focused on? Please drop it in the section, and I'm going to tell us why person 2 or person 4. Person 2 worked on aviation product, a live product for airpiece. Person 4 worked on a live product in health for you know, a live company also in health space. So please drop in the live chat, you know, which of these two are you going to be interested in hiring in your company? Please, I want us to I want to see our comments. Thank you, Olamilekon. Olamilekon said person 4. And please, Olamilekon, can you also state a reason why you are looking to employ person 4? Babatunde said, because he or she understands the psychology of the user. Good. Now, one of the reasons why I would want to employ person 4 is because, number one, person 4 understands how it works in the health sector. The product he or she worked on is health. And like I said, as a product designer, before you can work on any health, any product in the sector, you need to understand how they work end to end. So for you to provide a good solution in this sector, you already know how this sector works. So now, I'm the CEO of a health company. I don't want to employ someone that I will need to spend additional weeks, months on training on, okay, this is how it works in health. Okay, this is how we do it, this is how we do that. It's going to take time. Nobody wants to do that, play that game. Everybody wants to employ someone that will make the work easy, someone that already understands how it works in the space. So the reason why I'm going to go with person 4 is because this person already understood how things are done in the health industry. This person already worked on a life product that actually solves a problem. And obviously, I want to go with this person. So the reason for this, my illustration, is to tell you that even when you work on a life product, even when your case study is good, using all of these metrics that I mentioned, you also need to be well strategic in how you apply for the jobs. Right? If in your portfolio you have case study on fintech, you have case study on healthcare, you have case study on e-commerce, make sure that the jobs you are applying for are in this industry, are in this space. Now, I also want to say one thing. You can also use, like, if you have a portfolio or case study in healthcare, fintech, and e-commerce, you can also apply for other sectors. But your chances of getting the job in all those sectors using those kind of portfolio is going to be slim. And I'm going to tell us why. So I'm very sure that most of us here, we use LinkedIn, right? We must have applied for a job on LinkedIn at one point or the other. Now on LinkedIn has what we call easy apply. Like when you click on a particular job, you can see easy apply. You see the number of people that have applied for that job. Like for one company, you could see that over 100 people have applied. So now, have you asked yourself a question that to say that 100 people have applied? How many people out of this 100 have a very good, case study to show for? So now, and have you asked yourself the question that how does the recruiter, how do they filter out, the people that they want for this job? And let me also tell us that the reason why you need to be strategic and take this part is the goal is to get yourself into the interview room. And if you're able to get yourself into the interview room, at that point, you now need to, do justice, kill it, and get the job. So now, let me tell us how recruiters filter out, if let's say 100 people apply for a job, how they filter. So now, one of the first metrics that's going to look is the job you submitted. If it's a health company now, how many people have work case study on health? Now, if you apply, if your case study does not, if your portfolio does not have anything that do with health, they automatically cut you out straight up, because they are trying to filter the right candidate out of the 100. So now, once they see that, okay, let's say 40 people or 30 people has, case study on health, who are the ones that actually work on a real life product that has use case? Now, out of that 30, let's say 21 or 24 worked on abstracts, just formulate their idea, they are going to kick them out because it has not use case. They can't validate anything. You are just playing with UI, you are just playing with colors. That's just what you did. So now the rest of the people that actually worked on health, sector, that worked on a life product that can be validated, those are the people that are going to get emails to say, oh, okay, you've been you'll be scheduled for that interview. So coupled with that, also your CV and all these things matters, right? Those are the metrics they use to filter out people. So now when you get to the interview room with all these things that you've been strategic about, then at the interview it's now left to you, because nobody is going to follow you to the interview room. You need to be prepared. There are some interview questions that you need to be prepared. You need to be confident. You need to answer. At that point, it's left to you. Anything that happens, however things played out, you need to take the blame, because obviously nobody follows you to an interview. So the main essence of what this course is going to be teaching us is how we can be well prepared to landing, to get into the interview room. Then when you get to the interview room, let me tell you, getting to the interview room is one of the hardest things when you are hunting for a job. And you and I know that. That's the reason why almost every time you see that you are getting rejection. To get to interview room is hard. So now, to bypass that rejection emails is why this course is here. Is why I've been saying all these things. So if you are able to put all these things I've been saying, you are able to work on all these things, put them in order. All this rejection email would you start to you won't be getting the rejection emails anymore. You will now be converting all this rejection email into interview emails to say that, hi, Michael, you've been getting you have been scheduled to interview or so dates. And then there are also other things you also need to prepare yourself ahead of the interview that we are also going to be talking about in this course. Thank you, Sanusi. Sanusi said solve real problems. That's how to be strategic. I saw someone earlier saying that working on abstract is also good. Like, upon everything I've been saying, how does it make sense to work on abstract? What use case? What benefits does it bring to the table? Nothing. Zero. Nothing. Zero. It's waste of time. If you are saying that, okay, maybe the benefit is to improve your UI, why can't you improve your UI while working on a real life problem? Now, if you want to improve your UI skill, let's say you download, you visit an application and say, this thing, even without you asking user, you can say that this UI is not looking good. You can actually use that to practice just by redesigning that UI and making it better. That's how to improve. You are solving a real life problem. That's the work of a product designer or UI UX. Our work is to solve real life problem. Our work is to make products better. Our work is to be innovative, to make our lives better, not just to be pushing colors or pixel in Figma. No. Like, with everything I've said so far, I want to believe that we'll all understand. We are very clear on what we are going to achieve for this cohort. I want to understand that we now have a right direction. We understand what to expect. We understand what we need to do, how we need to be strategic, and we can see the value everything I've been saying. So that's everything that we are going to be doing throughout this cohort. And so the next thing on the slide, I've said most of the things earlier. So what I just want us to do this week, to kickstart all of this thing that I'm saying, is the first thing is I want us to carefully, out of all the sectors and industries we have in this world, right? Go on Google, search sectors or industry, right? I want us to choose at least three sectors or industries. Do you get? Just like I've said earlier, if you need to rewatch or listen to this this section again, go back to listening to what I've said so that you can understand better, right? So things I want us to do this week in preparation for next week is, let's choose 3 sectors or industries to focus on that we want to work in. Like I said, there are 3 metrics. Make sure the first one is, which of this industry do we have interest in? I'm very sure some of us here have interest in some certain sectors. For me now, I'm very big on travel, aviation, right? So if I'm big on travel and aviation, like I really love that space. I love to travel. I love to, to watch videos on planes, on travel and everything. That means aviation is one of the industries I want to work in. I'll choose aviation. If let's say fintech, right? Oh, okay. You have a background in finance, or you study finance. Like for me, I studied finance in school. Obviously, I want to work in fintech. Blockchain is there. Health is there. For some people, probably they have a background in medicine, or they study. They went to school around maybe biochemistry, or interest, right? You have interest, passion. There's passion. You have passion for a particular industry. That's under metrics. But the most important metrics is you use in choosing your sector is the opportunity. Don't just say that okay, because e-commerce, I love e-commerce, I have passion for it, I want to choose it. What if there is no opportunity in e-commerce? Because like I said, at the end of the day, the reason why we're doing all these things is to make money, is to be successful, is to get jobs, right? Make sure that the sector you are choosing also have opportunities in them. Where okay, when you do all of this things I've highlighted earlier, you can now get jobs. Do you get? So now, like I've said, make sure this week do your. Now another thing I want us to do is, after you've chosen, right, do your due diligence, research about it, read about it, get familiarized with it, right? Get to learn about the industry. So by next week, or during this week, I'm going to be having meetings with the group leaders, and I'll be asking them, if everyone has, chosen their 3 sectors that they want to focus on, that they want to work in, and then those sectors is now what, we are going to, individually, that's where you are going to now be working on your case study on, like I have highlighted earlier, like I've said earlier. Do you understand? So I hope, this is very, very clear. So, Olufumila said, now why they get steady, unfortunately, we will not. Yeah, so this is the reason, right? This is like, let me say 70% of the reason. You need to be strategic, right? So, I'm definitely going to rewatch this section. Please, like I said, if you need to rewatch this section again to understand all of the things I've said, please take your time to rewatch. Like, this week is just set up. It's just for you to settle in, for you to prepare your mind, right? So you are not doing too much this week. Read about it. Make sure you are certain about this topic, these sectors, and you are good to go. Now, the reason why, let me just, I think I just remember something. The reason why, to focus on these sectors, right, is that now in the fintech space, in the fintech space, they are all in all sectors. I mean, there are always updates every now and then, right? I'm using fintech space because government policy affect the fintech space almost every time. Now, let's say you are a product designer, right? You are employed to in a fintech company, and a fintech company is an investment company. I think it was last year. Most fintech investment company like Chaka, Bamboo, RiceVest, they were affected by the Nigerian policy, where the Nigerian government held their account, I think their bank account, and what the company had to do is they need to start to redesign some of their feature to fit in, with the policy that is currently out, right? So that's why you need to focus on this industry, so that you can know what is happening. You can stay abreast of the information. You can, know what, that's how you can even better solve a problem. You can profile a problem. You can make a feature better. So there's one last thing that I didn't say. So like I said, I said there are 2 approaches in working on a live product, which is to work on an existing problem, right? And I've explained that to us, right? So the second approach is to work on enhancing, modifying a feature. So now, there are some products out there that they are so good that you hardly find bad reviews from users about the product, right? They are so good like that. Now, for those kind of products, I'm going to use an e-commerce company, which is Amazon, as an example. So let's say Amazon now, you know, it's so good that there are no bad feedback, right? And the route you want to go with working on a case study is enhancement. So now, let's say the checkout flow for Amazon, right? The checkout flow. You have an innovative idea on how to make the checkout flow faster, on how to make it better, right? Now, in the checkout flow, let's say one of your ideas is to add another payment method or to reduce the click. Let's say in the checkout flow, as it stands, Amazon has, like, let's say 5 processes, and you have an innovative idea to make that process, to streamline it to like 3. That's a good solution, because one of our role as UX designer is to reduce clicks. As a UX designer, you should be thinking of, okay, how can I make user do certain tasks faster? And one of the ways is to reduce clicks. Oh, well, instead of clicking 5 times, why can't I make it like 3 times or 2 times or even 1 time, right? So enhancement, that is, you want to enhance this the feature. So you have an idea of, introducing a payment gateway or reducing the number of processes. And if you're able to solve that problem, also you need to do your research, right? Reach out to people already using the product, right? Gather their insights, talk to them about what you're trying to profile, and if it's going to solve their problem. And if you're able to do all of those things, validate it, reach out to them, and they say that, if Amazon can change their checkout flow to go with what the solution you just created, this will be lovely, and I would love to use it. I can't wait. Then you know that, yes, you solved the problem. Then you can now write a case study to say, enhancing the checkout flow of Amazon app. And you write your case study, and boom, that's it. You can see that, like, just listening to all these things, you can see the value. You can see that when you publish this kind of thing out, when people get to read it, like, the way people will place you, they'll place you as someone that is well experienced. At that point, you don't need to start to shalaye, because evidence choke. Do you get, like, in the case study is your evidence? Do you understand? So those are the 2 approach you can use. Is either you work on solving a problem, or you work on enhancing a particular feature in a product, and that's the way to go. So we've used 1 hour on this call. So I think before we go, let's just take question and answer. Like, this is the question and answer section. Drop the question you have in the chat, and I'm going to answer them before we round it up. We should use at most 15 minutes for this section, and we should round it up 10 to 15 minutes, and then we can call it a day. So if you have any question regarding everything I've said so far, if you need clarity, just drop it in the live chat, and I'm going to answer them. Then I expect the group leaders to communicate to their various groups. For some people that are not on the call, we have 30 people on the call right now. For some people that are not on the call, because we are supposed to be over 100 people, right? So you can go send this link, the video link, once it's done, to your group, so that they can rewatch and tell them what they need to do, right? Okay. Salam Moshud said, being strategic is key in this scarcity era of tech roles. Thank you so much, Salam. You understood the assignment. As we all know that at the moment there is the tech space is going through like a little crisis, right? Companies are crashing. Some companies are collapsing because of what happened earlier this year, like the banking crisis in the US that happened. So a lot of company money went down the drain, right? And the tech industry is currently struggling. But there will always be a time where everything will boom. So now we need all these things, and what you need to now prepare yourself ahead of that time where there will be a lot of opportunities. But if you are not prepared, if you don't do all these things, you won't be able to get the opportunities, right? So you need, now in this era where opportunities are very, very scarce, you need to be very strategic. So Babatunde Alaran said, please send us the links for the video. Obviously, yes, I'm going to send it. And after the end of this video, it's going to be available on the channel, and you can also access it. Messi Okache. By the end of this cohort, evidence go over show. Thank you so much, Messi. Thank you. So you can see that by the end of this cohort, the evidence go choke. Even me that I'm talking self, I'll be competing with you guys because now I've given you guys all the secrets that you guys need to know. So I will need to be competing with you guys. I'll be dragging the jobs with you guys to say, I'm Messi. Messi have applied to this job. Will Messi not get this job? Or Salam have applied, or Usman have applied, and I'll be okay. Let's see, the best man wins. Do you get? So evidence go choke. Kingsman said for the case study, we are working. Are we working in group or individual? Like I said, we are working individually. This is not a group work. This is not a team work. Right? We are working individually. Like I said, you need to do all of the aspects yourself. Nothing like delegating tasks to say, okay, one person will do the research, one person. No. Now, if you do that, like I said earlier, if you do that, that means you won't be actively involved in some of these activities. How can you even explain? It doesn't make no sense. So it's better to do all of the work yourself, experience it yourself, learn, fail, retry, and that's when it can be so, it can be of value to you as a designer, right? So individually, what the group is about is to, is accountability partner, to check on one another, to say that Usman, what's up? Have you been able to do this? I'm here. Okay, what do you want to do? Okay, this is how you can do it better. It's just to be our, brother's keeper. To share love. To update, to check on one another. But we are all on this journey individually. I want us to have that at the back of our mind. So Pray said our website's also valid to put up on our portfolio, or is it restricted to Behance or Twitter? Okay, so we're also going to be talking about this when we get to the portfolio section. So for this, we are not going to be using Behance, right? We are not going to be using Behance. We'll be talking about more about this later. And I would, when we get to that part, I'm going to tell us why we are not going to be using Behance, why we are going to be using a website. And they are free websites. You don't even need to think of designing your own, where you can use free of charge, right? And another good alternative is Medium. We're going to talking about that later. I don't want to, talk about that because it's going to take much of our time. But all of those information will be communicated to us, when we get to that part. Salam said inflation and crypto BS. Exactly. All of these things, inflation is affecting every country of the world, not only Nigeria. If you are always watching news, global news, you will notice that all the country they collect big time. So it's affecting. That's what is affecting all the jobs. Even all the sectors are collecting. So now to get those little jobs out there, you need to be strategic. Usman said tips or insight to research the availability of opportunity in various sectors. There are no tips per se. Just go on Google. Search. Another thing I want us to know is as product designers or UI UX designers, our soft skill, the soft skill we should possess is how to research things, how to find data, how to get information. So I don't even think it's right for a product designer or UI UX designer to be asking for tips on how to research. No, right? So it should be our soft skill. Just go on Google, type in, okay, let's say you chose e-commerce as one of the industry. Okay, what are the level of opportunities? You understand? Google should be your friend. Google should be our friend. Type any question you type on Google, you definitely get an answer to it. Just ask the question however way you understand it, and you get it. You understand? So, Andrea said, "Thank you, mentor. This has been really insightful." Thank you so much, Andrea. I really, really do appreciate everyone time, and by the end of this course, evidence go boku. Like everybody would be so proud of dedicating all their time to joining. And okay, Praise said Medium. Yeah. I don't want to go into why we are going to be using Medium or a website. Like later I'm going to talk about that, and I'm going to use us as case study, because for me, when I'm trying to explain things to people, I use them as case study, and that's how they can, understand things, right? When you put yourself in the shoe, you can get to understand it, right? So all of these things, we'll talk more on it. So I'm going to take 2-3 questions and we'll call it a day. Afsat said, for those of us that don't really know which sectors we prefer, is there a way to go about it? Like I said, 3 metrics you are going to use in identifying the sectors you prefer. The interest. Which sector do you have interest in? Which sectors do you have passion in that you like? The last one is which sectors have opportunities in. Do your due diligence, research about it, read about it. Go on Google, ask questions. That is our task for this week. We have more than enough time to do all of those things this week. Do that. Salam said, for startup, you can get enough on exactly. Go on Y Combinator. Go on. Okay, there's one website, TechCrunch. Probably I'm going to send it to the resource channel. Y Combinator, TechCrunch. You can search for different companies. TechCrunch is like a database for all the companies that is available in the world. You can get, there are a lot of. Google is your friend. Google is your friend, basically. Alan said, I'll ask, how is abstract product not useful? Alan, I don't want to go back to that. Listen to this video again and you will get to understand why abstract product is not useful. Go and listen to it again. Everybody here can agree to me that abstract product is a total waste of time. If you paid attention to all the things I've been saying, you will get to understand why. It's there for you to see, it's there for you to understand. Like, just go back, watch this video, listen attentively, and you'll get to understand. And in your group that you are, I'm very sure other people in your group will be here. They can even send you voice notes to explain better why I said abstract product is not. As you can, abstract product is something you coined yourself. It does not exist. It does not have use case. You didn't work on any real life problem. As product designers, our role is to improve products, is to make life easier for people. Abstract product does not do that. You just created something out of nowhere. Maybe you want to work on a fintech app, you name it Allen Bank. Allen Bank does not exist, does not have user. You just check CUDA, take out their feature, put it in your own. Check out GT Bank, put their feature in your own, put everything together. That is not a real problem. You are just formulating you are formulating things yourself. You are formulating things. Abstract is not even good for beginners. It's not good for anyone. Like I've said, if you want to work on products, if you want to learn, if you want to practice, go. There are a lot of websites online that has terrible UI. Take a screenshot of the UI. Try to redesign it to make the UI better. That's how to work on product. That's how to work on real life stuff. Abstract is never a good way to go. I'm telling you this for a fact. And if you feel you still want to work on abstract, I can't force anyone. The only thing I can do is I can try my best to tell you the right thing to do. It's still left for you. We are all adults, right? We are all adults. So if you feel you still have your reason to work on abstract, it's fine. But I've said all the things I can say, and everyone here can testify that what I've said is of value, right? So I think we've spent more than enough time for the Q&A, and we should call it a day, right? So the group leaders, later this week we'll be having a call. I'll be checking in to know what the progress is like, and next week is another week. I want us to prepare ourselves for next week. Next week, God's willing, we'll be having someone come talk to us on how best to write a case study, and the journey has started, right? So do have a productive week ahead. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and until next time, do have fun and stay fabulous. Bye everyone.